As you see, I'm trying to make a right angle there, curving inwards. And meanwhile, I've got Standards Brigade, as we see here, trying to flank the Southern troops. So if I manage to flank these troops and then advance in the middle, as I'm trying to do with Harrow's Brigade, look at this. I'm trying to advance and create a secondary flank. If I can hold the angle and create cause enough casualties to the Southern troops, I still will have a victory in this battle, because while they have taken part of my line, the southern parts, the 2 parts of my line, are worth more in victory points, and I still will be able to get more casualties. So I might have still a small victory here. Looks like I'm trying to run my cannons towards my line, but the southern troops are definitely doing a great job intercepting. But look at this. Standards Brigade is getting driven back. This is unfortunate because while they're large forces here, they're incredibly demoralized. They're not veteran forces at all. They're green forces, so they only have 2 morale blocks. So even though they can theoretically take a lot of casualties, they're just easily demoralized. And Standard, also my brigade commander, is wounded, which means he's not able to give them any more morale. And since they were trying to execute a flank, they didn't have the morale support of nearby troops, and hence, well, basically they were routed pretty badly there. So there goes my hope of a flank. Basically, I'm going to have to rely on my troops holding here at the angle long enough for this scenario to end in order to win any kind of victory here. And note that the southern troops are now readjusting. General Lee, not wanting to let me survive at all, just taking no prisoners here, has now shifted the bulk of his troops southward to deal with the desperate stand I'm trying to make here at the angle. Now that he's cleaned up my entire northern flank, this is really I'm in a terrible position right now, and we'll see if I can manage to pull any kind of tactical brilliance here to be able to come back. Okay, and now we're back, and looks like one part of my right flank has once again broken. I could see on the very northern end just one regiment, one hero regiment of Standards Brigade actually fighting to the end here, but they're flanked on 2 sides here. Oh, well, they're flanked on one side significantly, and I'm desperately trying to send troops north to be able to make a sort of a shield against these incoming troops, which are coming from the north.
General.
And, wow, more of my generals are getting wounded. This is just not looking good for me. And note that if the South does take this battle, they will take the entire Battle of Gettysburg. They will have broken through the Union line, and they will be continuing to rampage through the North. So as we speak, history is changing itself. Who knows? Perhaps the South will actually get recognition from a foreign country, and perhaps the Confederates will actually gain independence due to my disastrous handling of this battle. Of course, a lot of counterfactuals have been written about this, and in my personal opinion, I don't think it was likely for the South to gain independence really at any point in the war after the second year because of the Emancipation Proclamation. I do think that politically it would have been impossible for them to get recognition, and that economically speaking, the North was just so powerful that there was no way they could possibly, even with a couple of battlefield victories, they could possibly stop the victory in the North. I think, though, if they had managed to hurt the morale of the North, that might have been the only way for them to win. If they, say, didn't re-elect Abraham Lincoln in 1864, that was probably the closest the war ever came, was the months leading up to his re-election. But in any case, now we're seeing another twist in the story here. Suddenly, there are a whole lot of cavalry brigades activating. What happened is Jeb Stuart, the southern commanders, actually managed to get his cavalry within range here, but also my own northern cavalry has arrived. And unfortunately, I am unable to battle Jeb Stuart's cavalry in the rear of my forces because I absolutely need these cavalry to hold the line I have in the front. So what I'm doing right now is trying to get all these cavalry to ride northward, and I'm on pause here, so we'll see how successful I am once I unpause. And here I go, I unpause after giving a lot of orders. Oh no, the first thing I hear is that they've captured some of my cannons, which is if they rush my cannons, they can actually capture instead of just routing them, which is just really embarrassing. It's kind of humiliating because they become their cannons and they can just kill them. And it looks like I'm trying to run my cavalry away, but unfortunately they're engaging automatically with the southern cavalry. There's no way they can ride away while it looks like I'm going to force them to go. The green arrow means, oh no, this is not good. The southern cavalry is starting to mount up also, and they're going to be giving chase to my cavalry and continue the flank. I absolutely need these. And it looks like these cavalrymen, for some reason, oh yeah, I was forced to run them rightward towards the east because there's no way I could go west. There was just a mass of southern troops there, and I just had to basically run for my life. Looks like I'm going to try to do some sort of counterattack, though, with these. I basically have 2 brigades of cavalry. I'm going to try to do some kind of counterattack with this northern brigade, but it's just not working. And the cavalry of the south is soon going to be behind me. It looks like I'm not even able to run away here. This is just poor control by me. I couldn't even run my cavalry away to help assist the line. So I'm taking a look at the score right now. I'm far far behind here. I've lost the angle. All I have is the southern end of my line and Cemetery Ridge. And this is going to be my Custer's last stand here. This is going to be my Alamo. This is going to be my Isla Wanda. This is going to be my Cameroon here. I'm going to be facing a last stand here on this little hill here, the Cemetery Ridge, which is ironically what I battled on day 2, what I showed you a little round top. Basically, I'm going to have to hold there once again in order to have any sort of semblance of even preservation in this battle. And looks like at this point, oh yeah, at this point in the game, I've given up on all chances of really having any kind of victory. And really, there's not much micro I can do because, unfortunately, I'm getting attacked on all sides. So I've decided to speed up the game. I was playing on slow because I was actually trying to micro. It's really hard to micro anything faster. As you can see, it's really hard to control. This game's pretty old, so it's hard to control. But now I've basically given up, and I just want to see what happens. And it looks like what's happening is the cavalry of the South is rushing up, and they're going to try to flank me. They've surrounded me on absolutely all sides here, and my avenues of escape are just closing on all sides. And this is just a disaster for the North here. Looks like Robert E. Lee Jaedong will take this battle, not only beat me, but completely humiliate the Northern Army here. Completely humiliate this blue Terran army, and perhaps the evil Zerg will actually take over what is left of the United States. And it looks like actually after a few minutes, some of my regiments are actually surrendering. This occurs if they're trying to retreat, they're trying to rout, but unfortunately, if there's enemy troops on all sides, instead of just routing, you will actually surrender. And if you surrender, the enemy gets double casualty points, and at the very end here, note that I don't have a single regiment of any type of troop alive. Basically, every one of them has been routed. There is absolutely nothing left of Gettysburg. The South has swarmed all over Cemetery Ridge, and Pickett's charge, instead of being an absolute disaster, has been a complete military success. It looks like with my last remaining battery, I'm going for a counterattack. This is Cholera's charge, and it looks like I was trying to crash into the cannons and do some damage, but before that happens, the battle is over. It is a decisive Confederate victory. Just take a look at the enemy colors. That's how many regiments surrendered from my troops. I think that was something like 8 regiments were surrendered. And they've just basically destroyed me. 16,000 to 5,000. That's called an epic victory. Although they did take about the same amount of casualties, they took all the victory points, and so my army is completely destroyed. And I believe this is a little video that they show if the Confederates get a tactical victory. Now, the tactical victory isn't the supreme victory for the South. I believe there is a way for them to win this entire battle. It's a decisive victory, but it doesn't involve Pickett's charge. I think they had to win a lot of battles before the Pickett's charge. But in any case, they've certainly done very well. I think a couple of things that made it very difficult for me to win. First off, was that Jaedong, or General Lee, whatever the setting is really good at sensing where my lines are weak. So he just kind of had his map hack, like basically sending all of his regiments into places where he knew I didn't have double lines, which meant that I had regiments on top of each other to support each other, and so he managed to create that hole in the center of my line. And the other thing I think was, of course, because my artillery didn't do enough damage. And now it looks like they're asking me for a high score for my pitifully low score. It looks like it actually was not Cholera fighting this battle. It was Savior. Ma Jae-yoon suddenly sneaked into my brain and caused me to slump terribly against General Lee Jaedong. And yeah, that explains pretty much everything. So Savior was the one who lost Pickett's charge, guys. This has nothing to do with Cholera playing. Savior, of course, is still in a slump despite coming back to the A-team a few days ago. And so we shouldn't blame him too much, but we should have a stern talking to him and ask him to practice more before he plays again. Anyway, so this explains everything, of course. Savior basically lost the United States of America. It is his fault that the Union broke apart. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was my wacky 400th video. This was my historical commentary of the year, and I will be returning soon to our usually scheduled program, which is of course StarCraft. I will be casting some interesting games coming up from the MSL qualifiers, or I believe the OSL or MSL qualifiers. I don't know which, but Firebat Hero versus Much will be coming up at least probably today or tomorrow. They're facing each other in qualifiers, and of course they have an amazing rivalry between each other, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching, and shout out to all the players I've played with recently from the IRC channel, sc2gg.com. It was great playing with you, and especially a shout out to Vilda, my new Swedish blonde fangirl. And that's right guys, this is why I've made 400 videos. Oh yeah. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. This is Cholera signing off.